Singapore, a red dot in the south of a Malaysian peninsula, right? We're just about 700 square kilometers, population of 5.6 million. Good day, everyone. My name is Dominic, and well, this is my business card. Kind of an odd way to start a presentation to exchange a business card. But maybe that's because in my previous career, I have spent a lot of time in East Asia. And when you do business in East Asia, one of the first few things that you would do is to exchange a business card to identify who you are, to know what you do, and give you a little background of what are we going to do in this business dealing, right? And this is a very important thing, the identity of someone, which is pretty much a topic of what we are going to talk about today. The digital identity of who you are and what you do, right? I joined the Government Technology Agency of Singapore 3 years ago, right? And I was inspired by this notion of smart nation. What is smart nation is to us is that it's the government, the society, and the economy coming together, finding a way to build a nation where we can innovate and grow. We can create opportunities for everyone, right? And empower our citizens so that we can actually improve lives and build closer communities, making the world a smaller place for us in the new age of a digital economy. And within this smart nation, I am fortunate to say that I've been given a chance to work with my colleagues who are very passionate about digital identity, because we believe that digital identity is a cornerstone towards a smart nation vision, right? In order for us to make sure that everything can happen in that whole digital space, we need to be able to give the identity to someone. So, what is digital identity to people? It is the infrastructure, right? If you think about how the economy has developed over the years, the infrastructure that supports the economy, you have the airport that facilitate movement of people between different countries or different locations. You have the seaport that facilitates the movement of goods. And then now when we think about the NDI, the National Digital Identity Platform, this facilitates a trusted movement of data, an exchange of data between different entities or different people. So, National Digital Identity in Singapore is more than just a digital credential. We have a mobile digital identity or SingPass app, but behind this thing, we have actually built with a lot of thinking behind how we're going to help citizens, right? The most obvious thing is actually to empower citizens or residents to be able to identify who they are online and be able to transact accordingly. But what is not so obvious sometimes is that it is also a business enabler, because with the businesses being able to identify who their customers are, they are able to bring about different type of services that capitalize and maximize this knowledge, right, in a very secure manner. And as a whole, what we really want to do is to build a trusted digital ecosystem where businesses, financial institutions, telcos, different type of marketplaces can come together to trade and to exchange, transact, right, in a very safe manner. So, what are the some of the features, right, behind or APIs that we have on in this data platform that can support this? We have MyInfo. This is actually acquiring customer data from different government sources, putting them together, and being able to serve them to apply to empower citizens to be able to show this data very clearly to the parties they transact with. Login is actually a unified way to enable access to different digital services. And we have Verify, helping customers to verify who they are offline. We have Sign, which is a tool for people to sign documents in a very high fidelity manner. We have Identiface, facial verification as a service, right, to help people to identify who they are through a digital image of themselves. And last but not least, Authorize, authorizing transaction on the go to help people be able to do transactions and be able to be confident that whatever they have actually agreed to has been properly authorized. Now, how does this thing all come together, right? And what does this deliver? It delivers great value to citizens in many, many ways. In the last year, we actually have seen a rapid growth in this. We have 340 organizations currently using SingPass in Singapore. And they actually have hosted 1,400 services. This is 4 times more than what it was a year ago. We have 60 million MyInfo transactions in the last year, and this is growing in an exponential manner as well. And it is not just the usage numbers, right, that speaks for itself. The value that we actually bring to users are also tremendous. Number one, we have seen an 80% reduction in transaction time for businesses, and we have actually saved $50 per transaction in many cases. Facial verification has helped to reduce waiting time for citizens when they are at counter consuming different types of services. So what is the story behind this growth that we have seen? I'm going to share with you 3 of the 6 products, right? And explain to you the journey that we have been through and tell you how actually that has come about over the years. MyInfo, this is a consent-based sharing, okay, platform. So let me just explain how that works. Say there's an individual who wants to apply for a bank account, and in a typical transaction where you need to apply for a bank account, there's the KYC process. The banks need to know who you are and be able to be confident that you say you are who you say you are, right? So when the user actually log into a bank website, they can actually retrieve the personal data from MyInfo through the bank website, which is integrated with us. Then there is a process where the bank will say that these are the data that I am requesting from MyInfo, and with the user consent, with a single click, that application can be completed. Now, this is a very powerful notion. Why? Because if we think about what are the impact that this MyInfo has helped to put together, you see here it's a graph. Okay, this was a study done by a US company called Built for Mars, and basically what they did was that they actually went to look at the whole process of applying for a bank account, and they counted the number of clicks that each bank has to go through, put the customer through in order for the bank account application to be completed. And this is what they found, right? If you look at the top 5 banks, these are our relying parties. These are banks that actually work with us and rely on MyInfo to help this experience become better. As a whole, MyInfo is about telling us once. We started this journey initially just thinking about making sure that government services can be very closely integrated, where our citizens, our customers, only need to tell us once, and we only store the data in one single location. But as we went along, we realized that this seamlessness, this paperless and presentless process, right, can be extended beyond the government. So basically what we have done is that we have extended this service to private sector and enable to help our citizens be able to transact in the same seamless manner as they have with the government, right? And the reported outcomes is amazing because on average, more than 50% of eligible customers, for example, at banks have definitely benefited from it. And number 2, it has actually increased approval with better quality data, right? If we spoke to some of the banks and they have explained to us that with MyInfo data, they actually can be a lot more confident as opposed to requiring customers to submit photocopies of whatever credentials that they may have. They still have to go through a whole KYC process, whereas now, whatever that used to take a couple of days, for that matter, weeks to process, can be approved instantaneously. Banks who are able to approve credit card applications on the instance in automatic fashion by using MyInfo. There is definitely a 80% reduction of transaction time for sure. And what you get from this is a very satisfied customer with a very streamlined process, right? The second product, login. This is a passwordless login process. And what does it mean? Let me share with you a short video. Basically, when you launch a company website, there's a QR code and you pull out the app and then you scan, right? After you scan with biometric verification on your phone, you gain access to the service that you need immediately. And in this particular case, this is an insurance company whereby the user can actually access their own account and check out what they have. And the lock-in with SingPass is beyond just the government, right? For the same reasons, we realized that it was very powerful for citizens to be able to access multiple government services all with a single password. Now we have actually also extended this to insurance industry, to the healthcare, to HR and finance software as a service, as well as to employee services. And the list and possibility continues to grow very rapidly. The benefit of this is that with the passwordless login, customers do not need to remember yet another password. It is a lot easier with a biometric scan on their phone. They will be able to verify who they are and do a two-factor authentication, right? This is one key that actually opened many doors. We can help the entire experience of transacting online be more and more seamless and secure for our users. And the third feature that I would like to share with you is this thing called Verify. So Verify helps you decide what are the type of data that you want to share with your people that you trade with or people that you meet. So here's the video of an example. Someone coming to a clinic. In a typical situation, they would have to produce their identity card to tell the receptionist who they are. But in this particular case, they just have to scan the QR code, and then the clinic will be able to register who they are, and the entire thing can proceed quite seamlessly for the user. Now, what is the benefit of this? Number one is that the user will only need to share what they want to share with the counter. And second thing, they do not need to surrender their document. Everything can be quite paperless, right? And this verify process have many use cases. In the healthcare sector, we actually have patient registration now being done using Verify. In the real estate, when people actually enter a building, in the past they would have to surrender their identity card to exchange for a pass. Now that actually is no longer required. And the best part is that the user do not need to reveal too much information about themselves, only whatever that is required for them to complete the registration process. Right? We have charities who is actually also going through the same facility to help their donors be able to register for tax purposes without having to review too much information. And one of the most recent use cases that I like, now people can verify and confirm that they're above 18 years old and they can actually buy alcohol through a vending machine without having a man in the loop. So the Verify tool actually is very powerful because it helps us to reduce the need to collect identity documents. Right? Verify can share credentials to whoever you need, whenever it is, and only the information that is needed. They do not need to know where you live. They do not need to know what is your identity number. They only need to know the attributes, for example, your age, in order for them to be able to complete that transaction for you. And the seamlessness is also there for customers when they actually do registration over the counter, right? So with these three examples, we have shown and exhibited a lot of technology that's behind driving all these capabilities that has empowered the national digital identity, right? But there's one thing that I would like to also share is that digital identity is not just about technology. All these things that I've just described to you is something that can be achieved if one will want to just invest some resource into it, right? As long as you do that, then security, for example, these are given stuff. These are hygiene factors. But digital identity is more than just a technology. Digital identity, what actually has helped it grow so fast in our country is the following. Number one, we are able to grow this because we build with the user in mind. First of all, my info as an example, right? There is tremendous transparency that we give to the user. With Tell Us Once type of concept, number one is that we tell the user exactly what are the type of information that we have that belongs to them, right? And this is actually displayed quite clearly inside the SingPass app. And this actually builds a very strong trust, right, between the user and the system. In login, as an example, we have seen a lot of user centricity, right? In all our design of various products, we design the user in mind. And by doing so, we bring about great convenience. If we bring about value to the user, then certainly in terms of adoption, in terms of the user's willingness to use the product, that actually helps to drive adoption. Verify, for example, empowers the user, right? We allow the user to decide for themselves what they want to share, who they want to share with, and when they want to share. And this convenience or this empowerment actually stretches beyond just the physical realm. In the digital world, in the same fashion, we are actually able to provide people with the right level of privacy when they actually transact with different relying parties. And precisely this is what it is, right? National digital identity in Singapore is a part and parcel of Smart Nation. And Smart Nation is actually to work towards making lives better for our citizens. And for national digital identity, if there is no user in mind and there's no user who is willing to try and use our product, then actually there's no identity, right? And if there's no identity, then there is, needless to say, there's no need for us to talk about digitalization. That's the reason why I mentioned at the beginning that in Smart Nation, national digital identity is a cornerstone for us to be successful in driving a digital economy. Thank you.